everyone, and welcome to the stream. We have a awesome amount of people here. We're going to talk to every single one of them, but I just wanted to let you guys know before that, everybody's link is in the description, and everybody has a channel. Saggy is temporarily retired, but her channel is still down below, so you guys can check it all out. But because of the idea of this stream and what we're going to be talking about, I definitely want to have everybody go through, introduce themselves, and talk about something they're loving right now. Personally, for me, I'm really excited. Tuesday, I have an interview with Ram V. I'm looking forward to that. He's an amazing author. I'm reading his one of his older books, Blue and Green, and it's definitely something we're checking out. Another thing I'm super loving right now is Stargirl on the CW. It's so good. Like, the idea of having that, I don't know if you guys seen, but Eclipso actually showed himself. I won't give any spoilers, but oh my God, he looks so fucking good. And Shade is a badass. I fucking love that show. So go for it, Saggy. Introduce yourself.
What's up? I'm retired Melonz. I got my dentures in today for the stream. But yeah, guys, Saggy Melonz, I do commentary, reviews, whatever the heck I feel like talking about. That's what I do on my channel. Currently, right now, I am taking a little hiatus just to kind of reevaluate what I want to do with the channel moving forward. So I'll be back, but right now, just taking a little step back because everybody needs a break, especially old Grandma Melonz here, you know. But yeah, what I really like is, you know, gaming. I like entertainment. I like a lot of things, but right now I'm doing Twitch. I'm replaying the Walking Dead Telltale series. It's bringing back a lot of nostalgia from when I first played it, and I have the whole collection, so that's kind of what I'm doing, is enjoying going back to some gaming content and playing some games, and I love The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead's absolutely amazing. I hope you guys can't hear the dogs right now. I feel like Mad Max, which is weird because that never happens to me. It's not even my dog, so I don't know why I'm hearing a dog randomly. But yeah, thanks for having me. This will be my last YouTube appearance for the next few weeks, and I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me here.
Oh, no problem. I love it. So, RJ, tell us about your channel and tell us something you're loving right now.
Hold on,
you there, RJ?
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, no, okay.
No. No, it's all good. Yeah, for me personally, like, if you're not familiar with what I do a lot of YouTube content. I've been covering a lot of stuff going on with certain other channels, but I predominantly focus on covering Marvel stuff and just overall geek culture stuff. Actually, something I'm doing right now, I'm playing through the original Undertale, and I'm reading Chip Zdarsky's run on Daredevil, which is amazing. I love that comic so far. It's great.
Oh, so good.
So yeah, that's what I've been really loving lately.
Awesome. So, Matt, you want to go up next? Tell us about your channel and something you're loving.
Hi, my name is Matt Jarbo. I run 3 Buck Theater. I do a podcast called Hollywood After Dark, which generally isn't always about Hollywood. And what I like right now is like Bluey, that show on Disney Plus, because I watched that with my kids. It's actually pretty good. And then also Dishonored on Xbox Series S. That's what I've been playing. I don't do much else.
Awesome. I would real quick. Thank you so much, Punk Trues. Thank you for the super sticker. I absolutely love it. And thank you so much, Diamond 976. I really appreciate you guys. So, Blerd, I'm so excited. Blerd Without Fear. Tell us about your channel and what are you loving right now?
Well, I'm Blerd Without Fear. My channel is largely dedicated to mostly X-Men shenanigans, some other random comics that I enjoy, sometimes Daredevil, sometimes Thor, sometimes Venom, sometimes Hulk, depends on what's going on. And I like to also, from time to time, shed light on lesser-known characters of color, lesser-known characters from LGBTQ, just characters people don't talk about very often. And yeah, positive thing going on in my life right now. I recently watched the first 3 episodes of Y: The Last Man, and I really liked it.
Nice. That's
so good.
Also, I really love Stargirl too. So there you go.
I did
Best
a video
on CW.
Oh yeah, Stargirl's so good. Y: The Last Man really surprised me with all the issues it had with production, and it was so good. Forced Adversity, awesome. You guys need to check out his channel too. Love that you guys are having this discussion. Positive vibe. Thank you so much for Subversity. Absolutely check out his channel down below. Or Hooded Justice or Robert, can you guys link it in the chat? So next we have Mad Max. So Amico rocks forever today, but movie madness. Tell us about your channel and something positive
my channel
you're into
is,
right now.
Extremely positive vibes about movies, entertainment, video games. I am critical of other. I cover madness and fandom, so I do address critics. But something that's really positive is my new friendship with Tristan and Nerdette, and she's doing some amazing content here. I was just watching the Cavernacle episode before I came here. Something I really like that please don't be negative on my positive is Titans. Well, yeah, I can't.
Boo, get off the stage.
No, but please don't be negative on my positive, as I love Titans season 3. I really do like Stargirl. I didn't watch Stargirl, the new season yet, so I'm happy that everyone's saying it's real positive. And a game that I really just started playing yesterday, because I love video games too, is Flynn, Son of Crimson. That's on Game Pass. If you have Game Pass, which is another great thing I love because I'm broke right now. Game Pass, Flynn, Son of Crimson is a great pixel art game, action platformer game, sort of like Metroidvania light, but very light on that. It's a great. You have a sword. It's action platformer, and you have a big like wolf Rex. Go check that out for something positive you could do, especially if you have Game Pass.
Awesome. I'm not gonna say anything bad about Titans. I actually had Brian Edward Hill on a few days ago, and he's the writer on that. And I can't even be negative about it anymore because he's such a great guy. So I'm like, now I have to love Titans. I just have to. Okay, it's my new favorite thing. Just because that guy, he's so like that. He just reaps of positivity, and I'm like, it's infectious. Just you need to be an inspirational speaker or something. So let's talk a little bit. Let's get started. I want to talk about fandom toxicity. I have a lot of different questions, but starting off with the obvious, we'll start with RJ. Do you think that toxic fandoms actually exist? Because there's a lot going around, whether it is, just passionate fans.
Yeah, I would personally say that inside every fandom, there's a level of toxicity. Doesn't matter what it is. I think no matter where you go, there's toxicity. Really, the only fandom I can think of that doesn't have a shred of toxicity is maybe Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, surprisingly enough. But even there, it's like there's some level of toxicity. Yeah, so that's what I mean. Like
with the new animated series, oh my god.
Yeah,
but it's rightfully. But come on. Give us a break, too. Like, try a little harder, some of the stuff.
Hey, no. Well, here's the funny thing with that, too. Even with that new series, it took a while, right? Everyone hated it at first, but then it came out and everyone liked it.
Yet.
And now everyone's a fan of it.
I wasn't
really
hating on it either. Oh, it is? Okay.
It's very good.
Yeah,
it's
good.
animation, and it's actually, like, top tier. I mean, the designs might throw some people off, but I remember when the show ended, a lot of people were upset.
Yeah, people were sad. Like, please give us more seasons. Then now there's all this hype for the animated movie coming to Netflix. It's like it's a stark contrast to when it first started. And everyone was complaining about the way like April O'Neil, for example, looked. So it's interesting. I think that there's toxic people in every fandom, but I don't think like as a whole fandom's toxic. If that makes sense. But it's a complicated question.
No, I totally get it. I think there is. I think it gets more noticed when something becomes more popular, right? More people join that fandom, and then they, maybe meet up with somebody else that's similar in mindset to them. So I think it exists in every single fandom to a small degree. There's always going to be fringe people, no matter what. But depending on how popular something is, I think it's what really creates that negativity around it. Like, not my recently had a problem, and I know this is going to trigger Max with the Snyder fandom because I spoke out again.
I'm not triggered.
It's time, baby. Let's go.
No, I wasn't canceling Jeff Johns.
Shots are fired, ladies and gentlemen. Shots fired.
Come at me. I'm fine.
Well, there was a lot of like just straight up assholes. There was a lot of
some of them. I know.
Well, I mean, and there was a lot of people that would make really weird videos about me, like just calling
I didn't
me
know that. I didn't know.
weird, like calling me a "see you next Tuesday" all throughout the
Really?
entire
No,
video.
that's not cool. Well,
And
this
it's
is
like-
this is what I want to get. I want to stop. This is something I'm going to try on my channel. Is stop calling them fans, because if you ruin it for someone else that's a fan, you're no longer a fan. You're more a fan of your opinion. We have to be open to new interpretations of characters. I'm so sick of people saying you ruined my childhood, or we can't do anything with the property. Wait for the context to sit in before you freak out.
So
Give
if I
everything
may-
a chance.
If I may interject,
Go for it.
the thing is that there's a difference between fans and just straight up toxic people. Can toxic people be fans of something? Sure, you can't take that away from them. However, if there's a huge difference, it's toxic fans. When you say they're passionate, not fans, there's passion and there's obsession. Okay, there's somebody who's passionate about something, sure, but then when it becomes an obsession, that's when it becomes toxic. Passions can become toxic because you're now obsessed. And a lot of fans, what it is the entitlement, right? Because we're fans, some people start feeling entitled to the work or the art. And it's like, we're not entitled. We're watching. If you want to control the narrative, then you put up your money and you create something. Do a fan film or something. If you're really that bent out of shape about a story you didn't like, do your own version, write fan fiction, do something. You can still tell your story and not complain about what's been said. Because here's the thing about these characters and all these fandoms. There's different variations of them. DC, Marvel, we've seen different stories from before they were movies. Okay, we're talking about the comics. If you're a comic book fan, you know that many of these stories that they're talking about has existed. But the problem is you're dealing with new fans who don't go that far back. And again, they feel entitled. Well, I don't like that Captain that Falcon becomes Captain America. Well, did you know it happened in the comics first? Did you know that was a real thing that happened? And they're just telling one story that hasn't been told on the big screen yet. Oh, well, no, it doesn't matter. They're just doing it because it's woke. This is what I'm talking about. You have to separate fans from people who are legit just toxic and feel entitled. It's very obvious when you look at it who those people are.
Oh, absolutely. And I think one thing I'd actually like to add to that is I started out that way. I really was against different iterations of certain characters when I started my channel. And then when I realized, like, it took me a little bit to see, like, it's just kind of, I guess the way I compared it to was the multiverse, right? It is similar in nature because I loved characters like Calvin Ellis or, somebody like that. Even now we're seeing, a little bit of it in Infinite Frontier. But those characters are just, another version of that multiverse. Sure, Titans may not be my favorite thing, and it may be very weird for me to see Bruce kill, but there's nothing wrong with that existing. I will just go read what I personally like. And I think that's okay. I think in the people that do the whole "you ruined my childhood" thing is just a kind of gaslit way of gatekeeping.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think it goes a bit further than that. I think when you start realizing that the loudest of the loud are financially incentivized to do it.
Yep.
And it's kind of like, you guys ever watch Black Mirror?
Yes.
All right, so remember the episode where like it's the they have to be on the bikes all the time?
Yes.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah. Well, they're to build the
Daniel
currency. Yeah.
Kaluuya one.
Yeah, and so it's at the end, like the main guy, I'm spoiling this here, but it's been years. The guy at the end puts on this impassioned speech while threatening to kill himself about the woes of society at his level. And because the ratings were so good, they said, "Hey, why don't you do that every day?" And the last shot of it is him recording a vlog with a knife to it, with a piece of glass to his neck, complaining about being poor and oppressed. And then he puts it away in a little box and he stands up and he's in a completely white penthouse apartment overlooking a park or something, you know? So he's been so far removed because he now has the financial incentive and the financial security to be able to, manipulate his audience like that. And I've always thought that was very fascinating because these people that are the toxic ones, they'll say, we're just going to monetize your hatred. they're open about it. They're so blunt
Right.
about it, and their audience doesn't care. And that is like the saddest damn thing, because they just want confirmation bias. That's all it is.
Yep. And I think there is a real part of the fandom that actually feels a little disenfranchised by the way that, you know, maybe things have gone. I talked about this with the Cavernacle. I think there's a point in our life where we all kind of wake up and realize, whether it's comics or TV show or whatever, we're all like, whoa, yeah, I was watching Static and I didn't realize how political it actually was. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
looking
Static
back.
Shock was
Yeah.
woke, man. Static
I
Shock
know,
was woke.
but it was so
Oh.
good. And I
Well,
was
no,
like,
yeah,
go ahead.
people are saying it's woke right now. Like the new comic, people are saying, "Oh, it's SJW woke bullshit," because it's the same story it was originally, like in '92.
Right.
Yeah, it's
Well, that's what's amazing to me, right? It's like,
yeah,
this might be a hot take in today's climate. I don't know, but comics have always had a hint of woke to them. I mean, Blerd, you cover X-Men. X-Men, when
Yeah.
it was first initiated, was an allegory for the civil rights movement. That was the
And-
entire point.
well, not
and it
until
grew into an
Claremont.
allegory for the LGBTQ community as well, like over the years.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's always been that way. Just the thing is, when we were like 8 years old, reading comics and watching cartoons, we didn't notice it because our brains weren't, developed enough to actually like grasp the concept that the real world was being shown to us. And now that we're older, we're able to recognize these things a lot more easily. It's one of those situations where now we feel like, oh no, suddenly it's a new thing. It's like, no, it's been a thing for a while.
Exactly. And hold on. And to add to that, that's exactly what you said is the problem with people who are always crying woke and saying, oh, they're trying to put this stuff in kids' cartoons. Hey, we grew up with these same kids' cartoons and we didn't see that shit when we were watching it. We didn't pay attention. We only noticed it when we were older. So what are you talking about? The kids ain't paying attention to the messages being said in their cartoons. They're just seeing their superheroes fighting the bad guys, and we want to grow up to be superheroes. We weren't thinking about the political aspect of our kids.
But
so that argument
Saggy,
now is dumb.
critical race theory is being written in X-Men comics. As they like to
Did you
make
never
the
watch
claim.
G.I. Joe? Did you never watch G.I. Joe? They used to talk
Yes.
about this stuff at the end of almost every episode.
Right.
Knowing is half the battle.
That is true. Also,
Knowing is half the battle.
extreme jingoism and patriotism. It's
That's
all like, I
funny.
mean, if anything, it's so contradictory, right?
But that's
Yeah.
the funny
Well, one
part
of
of
the
it.
Yeah.
I want to
we used to
add,
have episodes of shows that had like everyone used to have the what was it, the drug awareness week episode.
Oh yeah.
Everyone used to have the episode that focused on some aspect of the real world to get you to realize there was a problem somewhere.
Well, look at the famous Green Lantern, Green Arrow comics by
Oh, yeah.
Danny O'Neill.
Danny
Well,
O'Neill.
Yeah. Those tackled issues of race and drug abuse, all kinds of stuff. It's a
Hell,
very
Roy
Roy was literally
comic.
strung out on heroin.
That's what I was just gonna say. And not only that, then we saw
All right, chasing
Iron
the
Man-
dragon.
Iron Man, hitting the bottle. But I wanted to add, kind of correct you on something, RJ. That the allegory with X-Men didn't happen until the 80s with Chris Claremont, but then
Yes,
it became a whole new thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
By the
Up
way,
until
we
that point, it was just Charles Xavier perving on Jean.
Right.
Right.
But
True.
here's the thing: people want to talk
Well,
about how
can you
the
blame 'em?
entertainment was always trying to push inclusivity and stuff in their stuff. Hello, Captain Planet. Look at the cartoons back in the day. They always had one character, a group of people. Everyone was represented. You had the Asian character, the Indian character, the black character, the white person. You had all kinds of inclusivity back then. Why was nobody crying about it back then? You know why? Because kids didn't pay attention. They didn't care. And the whole point was they were trying to cater to all the different kids that had representation back then. When they do it now, it's like, whoa, God.
Well, when they do it
Captain
now,
Planet was so good though.
Right?
and I'll
Great,
go a
Captain
step
Planet,
further. Magic School Bus, the cartoon show.
I was just thinking about that.
Right? Yeah. I love that. I was actually rewatching those episodes. I can't stand the new one. The new one Netflix did was so bad, but the original was great. Still is. But it's like I think the reason why they call it woke these days is because back then people, they might have had an agenda, but they were quiet about the agenda because they realized that the best way to get it in is to treat it as normal. And that's how you get the conversation to work, is you have to treat things as normal. Like giving it this extra spotlight does well to draw attention to it, but at the end of the day can overstay its welcome very quickly. And
Right.
people then think they're being preached to or spoken down to. And that is what the anger of that is what, or I should say, I don't say anger, but like the frustration of feeling like you don't have a voice is one of the reasons why we've seen the rise of this. And so it is grifting to an epic degree, but it's grifting on an anger or frustration that is because of our social commentary and also our social conscience now is different than it was.
Well, I think it's done on both sides. To be fair, I do think done. It's really bad. There's extremes on both sides, though. You have a lot of well, I don't really want to name names, but a lot of race grifting on the left-hand side too.
Right.
I'm a lefty as hell, and even I'll admit that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, there's extremes on both sides. I mean, like, just for example, like, you know, when Marvel was doing the whole new Warriors thing with Snowflake and Safe Space, I thought
that was a anti-SJW joke at first. Like, it was so
it was like parody.
I was like, is this real?
Marvel quietly put that back in the shelf.
It never came out.
Well,
remember when Jean Grey imprinted Iceman being gay on him? Remember that? Like, that conversation, if you look at it just like from the context of gaslighting.
Yeah. The messed up part about it is Iceman's always, if you go back and look at like the old late 80s, early 90s X-Men, Iceman was often hinted at being gay. But the thing is, the Comics Code Authority didn't allow gay characters.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is why you don't like characters like Mystique and Destiny didn't become married until like recently, whereas before they were referred to as partners. But the thing is, they handled it so ham-fistedly with Iceman that it actually ruins any legitimate argument you could make if you point to the actual like evidence from the past that actually says, technically, there was some inkling to lean him in that direction a long time ago, but the way they handled it in the comic just kind of pissed on that.
Well, there was a lot with Robin too. I always thought Tim, well, at least say the past 20 years, maybe not in the beginning, but with Tim Drake, I always saw him as gay. Maybe I just see it better than some people, but it was there. It was clearly written there. They literally had the man in a closet.
The coding was clearly baked into the character.
Well, I was gonna say there are times, and like I can understand the other side's perspective on certain entertainment media. For example, perfect example of certain things that I can say I see this being woke because some of the things they do in these medias is unnecessary. Look at all of the black superhero TV shows, Black Lightning, Luke Cage, hell, Spider-Man, Miles Morales. Explain to me why, because it's all black people, all the theme songs got to be rap and hip hop. Black people don't all just like rap and hip hop. Some of us like rock music. Okay, damn it. Why can't we get a big ass rock theme playing when we come in to kick ass? Why got to be some Jay-Z, Eminem, DMX type
music?
My thing is like overall. And we got a black man here, and I'm a black woman, and I see him nod his head because he knows it. He's seen it. Why is it when it's all black cast, we gotta always push the whole Black Lives Matter narrative and everything? Like once an episode, I can understand, but Black Lightning's a perfect example of how they really do push the whole black people, Black Lives Matter stuff every time. They always gotta mention it.
And music,
right? Well, no, not
one
just
of the
music.
things I enjoyed about Black Lightning,
I don't understand that.
Was the family dynamic of it, because it was like, hey, it's not like some poor family that's struggling. It's like an affluent, black family. I mean, they were practically the Cosbys, but with superpowers. But
minus the rape.
Minus the rape, the rape and the Jello pudding pops laced with
hey,
laced with roofies. But because fuck Bill Cosby. It's the thing that kind of made me fall off of Black Lightning was that it did at a point start becoming like almost too preachy with a lot of elements. Like, not only that, there was some bad writing that's thrown in there with Lynn. They kind of turned her into a crackhead, and it's just like, I started having problems. Like the writing of the show started going like 18 different bad directions. From what could have been something really awesome. You see it a little less with Miles, But even then, still, like, it's kind of like, yeah, I mean, I'm a black guy. I like all kinds of music. I listen, like, no one would ever guess what my favorite genre of music is. But yeah, just
so mid '90s, like pop music. Like you look like a Chumbawamba kind of guy.
Oddly enough, I'm a huge fan of '90s dance pop.
Wait, well, hold on. What's your thoughts on Spice Girls?
Oh
I
my
love
God.
Spice Girls.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
Love Spice Girls. I own the first 2 albums.
I saw them in concert when they were in LA.
Here's my thing with Spider-Man, right? Here's my thing with Spider-Man Miles Morales. When you play Spider-Man, because I'm a gamer, right? So when you play the first Spider-Man game, okay, you play as Peter Parker. It's cool. So one thing I noticed, and this is why I say, and I know what Max is gonna say, because it is about the music, because it's weird to me, right? Okay. So when you're web slinging, when you're playing as Spider-Man and you start web slinging, you get this track that plays only when you're web slinging. It's like this superhero orchestra, really powerful song.
Yeah,
you
classic
do that,
Danny Elfman
right?
Stuff, yeah.
Yes, you play as Miles Morales, and as soon as you stop web slinging, he gets the hip hop track, and I'm like, why can't my man get the superheroic song? Why do we gotta do hip hop?
To be honest, though, like the soundtrack is pretty fire, though.
No, it's a good soundtrack.
I love the songs and everything.
I wish they were more creative.
Right.
Yeah,
like,
I wish they were more
creative. Is this where it can go into representation, potentially become offensive stereotypes? It's a show, so we got to do that. Yeah.
I'm saying that when it comes to certain little things like that, little hints, it makes no sense. Like the white guy gets the superhero heroic thing, but you got to do hip hop for the black guy. You could have done the same thing. It's really just the dumbest thing, and that little thing is like, why do we have to always bring attention to a race? You know, that you can have a show with an all-black superhero cast, but not always make it about the race. They could just be superheroes, and that's the problem when you deal with the whole woke in entertainment. Is that we are focused, we're looking for it now. That's the problem. We're always looking for what's woke in this entertainment. We shouldn't be looking at it like that.
Well, it's like the whole horror movie thing. Like, yeah, I don't know if anyone saw, I forget the name of the show. I think it was called They or something. I forget what it was. It was something that was on Amazon. But it was, the show about this black family moving into, a white neighborhood and the horror that comes afterward. And my biggest issue was why, I get it. Black pain sells. But for once, I just want to watch a horror movie starring black people where they're just the dumb idiots that go in the house that they're not supposed to go into. I just want to watch the movie where like the black person is the one that tripped and fell when they were running from the bad guy. I don't need it to be about, like some old school, like deep seated, like, oh, hey, it's Friday the 13th starring black people, but the monster is racism. And it's like, I don't need that. I'm past that point.
But hold on, but if done correctly,
yeah,
it could be really fucking good.
It would be good. No, it would be amazing. But it's like I don't need
but the
9 out of every 10 movies.
Yeah.
Or 9 out of every 10 TV shows.
The opposite side of the scale wasn't it a stereotype for it back and this is Hollywood's own problem. The reason it's so big of a talk now is Hollywood has ignored this stuff and now they've jumped the shark the other way.
Overcorrection is always a problem.
Right. Black people. Potentially the stereotype was they're always going first in the horror movie. That's the other end.
The black guy always does first.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
that was
the
a stereotype.
Red shirt. It's like
or you make it to the end of the movie and you die for a stupid reason.
Listen, LL Cool J was the first black man in a horror type movie that survived till the end, and that was in that stupid shark
but Sam
movie.
Jackson got yeeted early on in that thing too, pretty bad.
Untrue.
Wait, that's why he was the first?
Dawn of the Dead.
And the 91 Tom Savini remake starring Tony Todd, which is an excellent remake, by the way.
Yeah.
Listen, I was
actually my favorite version
of
Night of the Living Dead.
I thought LL Cool J was the first. I was shocked. I applauded. I was like, wow, they let a black man live.
Yeah, if you go back, you can find some early movies from like the 70s and the 80s, but it was still a rare thing for that to happen. But the thing is, Hollywood just discovered, and the entertainment industry as a whole, they just recently discovered that black people actually spend money on things that we actually care about. They're like, if you give us some bullshit, we're probably not going to invest in it. But if you give us something that's legitimately good, we can tell that people are actually trying, people are actually putting forth the effort to make something that's actually genuinely entertaining and speaks to us as an audience, we will give you our fucking money.
But
if you're half-assing it and you're just trying to get points without really doing the work.
Well, So let me ask you this though: do you think that the success of Black Panther had a part in kind of pushing where a lot of this stuff has gone now?
Yeah.
You know?
I won't say it's the sole reason, but I definitely say it's a combination. Take Black Panther, take Get Out.
Get Out, yeah.
Yeah, take and even though this is technically a slightly more recent thing, despite its cancellation, take Lovecraft Country, an even more recent example. People are saying, "Oh, wait a minute, we got to get that black dollar," and not just the black dollar, but like people are saying, "No, we got to get everybody's dollar. We got to get the Asian dollar. We got to get the Jewish dollar. We got to get the Mexican dollar. We got to get all the dollars." But the thing is, you got to go about it the correct way. You don't be just so blatantly obvious with the fact that you're catering.
But
like,
tell
don't
the
people.
story. But don't people enjoy it too? Like talking about that music that kind of Saggy's like it can be offensive that we don't get just a great heroic score. It has to be culturally infused. But when you have Black Panther and you go in the Wakanda and you hear that beat, that was my favorite part of that. And a lot of people feel the representation.
It actually makes sense. It makes sense.
It's like it's kind of like first season of Luke Cage. It's set in Harlem. If it wasn't like the music, if it wasn't reflective of the neighborhood, that would have been called out. Plus, I just want to point out, Method Man did a freestyle, so fuck you, Saggy. All right, like
I love the freestyle.
We got some Method Man on that one. I'm happy.
Listen, I'm not saying I like Method Man. Listen, I'm not saying the music isn't good. I like the music. Like, listen, I actually have on my Spotify list Will Smith's son did a track for Spider-Man Miles Morales, and that track bumps, and I love it. But that
whole soundtrack is amazing.
Right, that whole soundtrack's great. I'm not dissing the music. The music is great, but
there should have been more diversity.
Right, it should be more diverse because at the same time, it's like, why is it anytime it's about Black people, the stereotype, and that's what it is, a stereotype, is that we all like rap music. Some Black people don't like rap music. Some Black people like rock. There are some Black people. Yeah. I was surprised to find out the guy, what's the band called? But the one that's my disillusion, I forgot the band. But you hear that song, and I was shocked to find out that was a Black guy.
Yeah, it's about Kill Switch Engage.
Yes, Kill Switch Engage. Yeah. I couldn't think of it. Kill Switch Engage, when that band started, the main singer is a Black man. A rocker, and he has a beautiful voice and a beautiful rock voice. So it's like, why it's not Black people don't just stick to hip hop and rap. I like hip hop and rap. I like rock music a lot. I like pop music. We aren't just about rap music.
The funny thing is, I think the first and only time we ever really got a movie or anything that had a soundtrack that wasn't stereotypical, because the character in it was Black, was Spawn.
Okay.
Spawn had an entirely hard rock and electronica infused soundtrack.
That introduced me to Sneaker Pimps, and I remember that. I remember getting the Spawn soundtrack and then like going to church, and like I felt really bad when like I had my CD player in and my headphones on, and I hear that one song. It's like, "Hail Satan, hail Satan!" I'm like, "Oh no, someone's gonna know."
It was a great soundtrack. I still
that was an awesome soundtrack
to this day.
And I know people are harping about like music. Like I understand it's maybe not that important, but it kind of just speaks volumes that like this is what the entertainment people think that Black people want as representation, is when we have a Black character, it has to be like something that appeals to us, and to them they think, well, we need a hip hop track, we need to get a rapper on this thing, and it's like it can work in certain areas, but not everything has to be that. Like I would like more. What I
was gonna say, the problem though is like, again, it's trying to get everyone's dollar right. I'll give you guys a good example of this. So go back to Ghostbusters 2016. And Fallout Boy did the cover of the Ray Parker Jr. song with like Missy Elliott doing
that was so bad.
But the
miscarriage of music.
But like I remember I was laying in bed when that dropped, and I listened to it, and I just wanted to like roll back over and die. And then like at least in the movie it just had Missy, and I'm like, all right, I can get behind this a little bit. That is
I just remember people hating on the movie. I just was like, man, y'all can have a movie if you want, but this song is terrible.
Oh, the whole movie was bad. The whole movie was.
Someone commented in the chat, Ray Fisher Cyborg in Zack Snyder's version of Justice League. He fought to get. Well, they fought to get his his original storyline that wasn't just the typical, stereotypical. I believe, and that was a great representation there. What did you guys?
His storyline was great. It was his mouth that never stopped.
No, Tristan. I agree. No, Tristan. I totally agree. I like Ray Fisher. I can't condone it anymore. Once it got past
Jarbo. Shut up.
No.
I've said multiple times he put his foot in his mouth.
He's still walking.
Listen, I met the man.
Jarbo, are you poking the bear again?
Oh my God!
I'm
we're
not
friends with someone.
Here.
That's okay. Let the guy take the heat. I'm a
no, because I've already said too much.
It's just no. I'm just saying. It's like he's a great actor. I'd love to see him do more dramatic roles
right now. He's
sure.
Can we
pay him?
Careful, Jarbo. I met him. That's my homie.
I met him
Be
too.
Careful what you say.
How much would it cost to get him to wish Toby M. Walter Hamada happy birthday?
I'm gonna smack you, Jarbo. You treading on water.
Whatever. You're retired. I ain't afraid of you.
Oh wait, I am retired. I forgot. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So
I just wish Ray Fisher would just stop.
Yeah.
Taking interviews.
I was okay with
stop
it.
Taking interviews.
I was okay with it, and then he went after Jeff Johns, and I'm like, hell no. Are you kidding me? Like trying to call. It was just like stop.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, not you. Jeff Johns is absolutely amazing in my opinion, and I've never seen anything come out of that man's mouth that isn't super positive or super nice. It's like Jeff Johns is racist apparently. I just was like, yep, I'm done with
Joss
this.
Whedon didn't surprise me.
No, not at all.
The shit with Joss Whedon didn't surprise me. I was like, okay, you're on to something with Joss.
Yeah, Josh.
You're on to
I
something with
about
Joss.
Josh.
Yeah,
Nope.
But
Josh I was not surprised by.
Jeff Johns is the one I'm kind of like, are you sure Jeff Johns was the one? Are you sure Jeff Johns told you that? Like, I feel like there was a miscommunication where like maybe both parties are remembering something completely different from one another.
Well, he could have been an a-hole to him. He could have been, but is it fireable or that's the different thing? Like he could, it's not.
Yeah.
See, here's my thing. I can't speak on what happened because I wasn't there. So whatever happened behind the scenes, I mean, we can speculate, sure, but nobody actually knows exactly what went down.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Oh.
Wait, hold on. How do you know? What the heck?
I have no idea. I just thought it was just one thing after another. We're like, we get it. You like. In the investigation came up that nothing was wrong. Exactly.
And it was even a third party. It wasn't Warner Brothers.
Right.
It wasn't
Right.
Warner Brothers.
And he still wasn't. He didn't accept the results. I can't stand by that anymore. If you're still bringing it up and they investigate everything.
Exactly.
Right. And the only reason he's not in the Flash movie is he gave an ultimatum.
You know what? It's Matt Jarbo's fault. We'll just blame Matt Jarbo.
I get blamed for everything. I mean, I'm not even lying. I'm not even lying. There is a book you can buy in Barnes and Noble and other bookstores that will basically accuse me of being the reason why Donald Trump got elected. I'm not even making that up.
They promoted that book in my college.
And they promoted that
book in my college.
Yes,
I told Matt the story.
Yes,
my first week of freshman in college, I went to the library to go study, and they were like, "Read the book of the month."
It's Matt Jarbo's fault.
Read about
everything is my fault.
Evil blue skull that ruined.
Yeah.
It is your fault.
I'm just saying.
For everything.
Yeah, well, you know what? Listen, if Ray would have listened to me, then he would have been okay. No, I think the thing also wasn't there was Nadria Tucker, the writer. She was like the staff writer on Krypton.
Wasn't it on Superman and Lois?
Yeah,
oh no,
Superman
you're right.
and Lois.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was Krypton because it was.
She wanted to race swap Mon Pa Kent.
Oh, is that what it was?
No. Well,
Yeah.
it was also
it was
issue with the villain of the show, the only villain of the show being the major black character, who would later be revealed to be John Henry Irons. Yeah, Steel.
I was that was the best reveal ever, though. That was amazing. I've wanted to see a real life Steel for so long. When I thought he was Lex, I'm like, that's cool. That's cool. He's Lex, whatever. And then they got that reveal, and I was like, fuck yes. It was so good.
Oh, it was amazing. It was great.
The show's actually legitimately good. I actually initially did not want to watch the show, but then eventually I gave it a chance. I was like, it's actually really good.
That was me too, because I'm like, I'm done with the CW. I don't want to watch this anymore.
Yeah.
Watch it. Oh no, they pulled me back in. It's actually
think Jarbo, I think you're thinking of the girl, the guy on Krypton. I don't remember his name.
Oh,
but
Jean Roger Page, whatever his name is.
He was supposed to be like, I think he was supposed to be.
Like he auditioned.
Yeah, for the main role, and they said no because he was a descendant of Kal-El, so he would be white, and he was mad about that.
Well, then I think it was like supposed to be like Zod's grandfather or something.
Yeah.
And then or something. There's another actor who was a black actor, I forget his name, who was, I think, someone else's grandfather. And then the argument back was, but aren't they born in pods?
Yeah. So
they are. Like, I don't know.
Kal-El was not.
Okay.
What the heck? That's the crap.
So he was a natural pelvis smash. All right. Cool.
Yeah, he was a natural.
Cool.
He was the only natural baby.
All right.
Max, turn your phone silent.
I'll probably have to mute myself because the dogs are gonna go crazy when she gets home. Sorry.
Sounds about right. But yeah.
Anyway, so
brings up a good question. What about we're talking about different iterations of different characters. What are your feelings on race swapping? Because that's a big to do nowadays.
So here's my thing with race swapping is if it's done, so it's like
it's complicated.
Well, no, my thing is, listen. So my thing is, and I've said this many times. My thing is like, I don't think it's necessary to race swap unless it's necessary for the story. But more importantly, I think that when people are like, we need to have inclusivity, we need black superheroes, it's like, then introduce the characters that exist. Like my friend down below me had said when he started the stream, he talked about how he was giving characters, that aren't known more attention and, paying attention to those characters that aren't being talked about, like Blue Beetle. Shout out to Blue Beetle. But, characters like that, you have to. These characters exist. There are black superheroes. There are Latin superheroes. There are Asian superheroes. There are Indian superheroes. Why aren't you doing that instead of just race swapping? Because what you're doing now is you're not making people feel inclusive because there are characters that already exist. Why aren't you telling those stories? Those are the characters that I would like to see if you want to have inclusivity with this entertainment. Is these characters exist? Bring them in. Why?
Well, to piggyback off of that real quick, that's why I took major issue with the announcement of the Ta-Nehisi Coates written, J.J. Abrams produced Superman movie. It's like, just do Calvin Ellis and Val Zod. There's so many great black characters in DC. Vixen, Jon Stewart. There's so many amazing characters. Like, why are they not?
You do Superman from Earth D for Christ's sakes.
Yeah.
Right. It's just stupid.
There has to be both, though. There has to be both.
But on the opposite spectrum, I feel like a character like Miles Morales, while not necessarily a pure race swap, he's not a black Peter Parker. That's the great thing about Miles. He's his own character.
That's a legacy character.
Apart.
That's a legacy character we're talking about right there. Which I think a lot of people don't understand what that even means sometimes.
Right.
Well, they still call legacy characters woke.
Well, no, precisely.
Every black person that I talk to has also the same thing. We don't want a black Superman. We don't need a black Superman.
You mean a black Clark Kent? Because Calvin Ellis.
A black Clark Kent. That's what I'm saying. We don't need a black
Give us Calvin
Clark
Ellis or Val Zod or somebody.
Right.
You can you still call him Superman because he is Superman.
There has to be,
I don't mind if you create a character that's new who takes up the mantle. That's a different story. If you have a black character or another ethnicity character that's like, I'm taking up the mantle, cool. You can have
like what's happening with Batman right now.
Exactly. You can have but it can't be that character. Bruce Wayne, you have depicted him as a white man. It makes no sense that Bruce Wayne, when did Bruce Wayne become black all of a sudden? It makes no sense. You can have a black Batman. You just can't be Bruce Wayne. Have him be someone else.
Right.
But Saggy, the multiverse.
The multiverse.
Isn't that what they're pushing right now? Isn't that what they're pushing right now? So that's all it is. That's all. That's their argument for everything. Don't get me wrong. It's a lame ass argument, and I fucking hate it. But that's their argument.
I hate saying that we have like when people talk about changing the character's race, like what Saggy said earlier. I hate to sound like my mom when I was like a little kid. I'm asking for hey, I want to check out Superman. She said, we got Superman at home. That's kind of my issue with we got black, brown, all sorts of characters on the shelf. I can literally sit here right now and go down a laundry list, not just on both Marvel and DC side of the aisle, of characters who get no rep whatsoever that aren't getting pushed while newer versions of other characters are being created. Yeah, which that's fine. If they're written well, I welcome them to the pantheon, but
Right.
at the same time, like, okay, I get it. You guys want to make like I'll set Nubia aside because Nubia's kind of been on the shelf for a long time and it's just only kind of recently getting some love back. But it's like you got characters like Vixen. Vixen gets no love really outside of like she gets like a free comic every now and again, but like she doesn't get
she gets like that animated special on CW,
right? But like beyond that, she doesn't really get a whole heap of a lot of push in the comics.
Well,
like
she should be getting a push,
right? You have there's tons like case point X-Men. Don't get me wrong, I love Bishop, I love Storm, but those are not the only two black X-Men.
Right.
There's at least 10 or 20 other black and brown X-Men characters you could pick from. And only some of them like what was it when they did the X vote, to vote, who was going to be on the new X-Men team. I did a video about a character named Tempo. No one knew who that character was.
Timbo.
No one
I don't
knew.
even know that character.
That sounds. I'm just gonna say, just based off the name, I'm like,
Well, the funny thing is, she was actually a really cool character, but the problem is, she was always a bad guy, and she was in. I think she featured in less than 50 comics in the entirety of the time that she's been around since the mid '80s. Like she came out back in the early days of X Factor, and and X Force and stuff like that. But no one really knew who she was. But the thing is, she's a cool character. But the thing is, because people didn't know who she was, they're like, no, we want more Storm. We want more Bishop. It's like, well, that's cool. They can be there too. But what about these characters over here that we're just leaving in the cold?
Yep. Let me get these super chats real quick. I got two of them real quick. Minorities and LGBTQ characters should be handled like Kate Kane was. Where she was a hero that just happens to be black and gay, not gay and black hero. And I totally understand what you're saying. Like, we have a lot of, I have got one more. Sadly, one character that is not a race swap, but people assume is MJ in the MCU Spideyverse. They made her not MJ because she wasn't red haired.
Right. She's Michelle Jones, not Mary Jane Watson.
Mm-hmm. But that's true. Kate Kane was one I love those comics. I love looking at the old J.H. Williamson art. It's beautiful. That character was gay. Yeah. Yep. So nobody cared because that character's heroics and everything came first. And then the storyline, a lot of the storyline was, her getting kicked out of the military and stuff like that. It was clearly telling her story about coming out of the closet, but it was done with so much finesse that it was that's the perfect coming out story in comics to me.
There has to be new.
Thank you, Robert.
There's room for both though. Because then people that are extremely prejudiced against race swaps, gender swaps, say, yeah, make your own characters. There's so many characters in the history of entertainment comics that a lot of push has been for the white characters. So I think we have to come down to context, quality, and nuance. Because it also can work. It does depend on the character, but see the execution, the quality, and not prejudge it. Perry White was a great example in Zack Snyder's trilogy. Greatest Perry White ever. I'm sorry. There's now
those like two scenes. There's like barely any Perry White.
There were some great scenes with him.
Considering how many Perry Whites we have to compare him to, I
think Frank Langella got more to work with in Superman Returns.
I was gonna do more examples like Starbuck from Battlestar Galactica. Great gender swap. Really great Starbuck. The new Batman with Commissioner Gordon and Pattinson.
Mm-hmm.
So it can be done. We have to stop prejudging things before we see that.
Here's the problem, right? This is the problem with all the stuff we're talking about. It's because back in the day when all these characters, Superman, Batman, Iron Man, all these characters were introduced, right? They made these companies a lot of money, and their stories were really good. And I think what happened was that the focus was these specific characters that people are now locked into, all right? So introducing new characters now is a hit or miss because they don't know what characters to introduce because they don't know if this character is going to hit And again, because people are so locked into Clark Kent, Bruce Wayne, those characters that they have been pushing for the last couple of decades, those are the characters that people are locked in on. And so bringing in a new character, no matter what race they are or whatever, it all matters if this character is relevant to the story, because they all can count, they all interject, right? All these characters have ties with these characters, like Batman, Superman,
sorry, I'll be
like
back.
Blue Beetle. People don't know much about Blue Beetle, but Blue Beetle, if you go back and look into the history, Blue Beetle is tied to Green Lantern. He has had interactions with Batman. He was part of the Justice League. He was part of Teen Titans. Blue Beetle has ties to all these characters, but nobody knows Blue Beetle or cares about Blue Beetle because they never pushed him that much.
Are you talking about Jaime Reyes?
Yes.
He got a big push.
Right, he did get a big push
for a while, but then like it kind of dropped.
Then it was just went away.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm
Like
saying.
his biggest push was like Young Justice. That was like
Yes.
the most they really ever showcased.
and
in
that's
anything.
what I'm saying.
Injustice a little bit
Injustice,
too.
yeah.
Right,
well.
and that's what I'm saying. And they're looking at how the fans respond.
Mhm.
And Blue Beetle, he was cool, and only certain people caught on to how important that character was, but he didn't hit as hard as he should have. And that's the thing, because everyone's so locked into the characters we've been knowing for a long time. So introducing these new characters, it's hard.
Yeah.
It is.
Well, I mean,
Let
when
me-
most of these characters were created, it was mostly white men and women, more
Yep.
white men than white women, honestly, that were creating these characters, and there wasn't as much. There wasn't as much of a call, for that. So it's like, yeah. So now, kind of like how you said, Hollywood. We talked about how Hollywood, went one way, now it's going the other direction. In comics and stuff like that, it's a little bit different, just because more diverse people are starting to get into the industry versus what was there before.
Previously.
It's kind of the same with Hollywood too, to a degree,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's just one of those situations where I think people are just too attached. They're too attached to the old thing. Like, Nerd, you said it earlier. You can still have the one thing. The other thing doesn't take away from the one thing.
Exactly.
You can, like, this is literally like, people used to tell us, you can't have your cake and eat it too. This is one of those few areas.
I like cake.
Well,
where
let
you
me
can have
offer.
the cake, and you can eat the cake.
I
You
want
can
the
have
cake.
both.
Yeah,
Well,
now I'm freaking hungry.
Yeah.
Let me, but let me touch upon that for a second, because
Hold on,
that's,
let me get this super chat. Loving the talk, repping from Blerd KOA. Thank you so much. Oh, I hope I say your name right. Talaya House. Thank you so much.
You were close.
Sorry. Go ahead, Jarbo.
So I was going to say that it is true and not true at the same time. What a lot of these people, in regards to kind of like have your cake and eat it too, whatever, there's different versions for everybody. We have to look at how people consume the product. And that particular bottleneck ends up causing the clog. Because what you have is you've got your comic book versions or your video game variations or whatever. And then the vast majority of people are going to experience this through the same visual medium, whether it's a TV show or a movie or something equivalent. And so that becomes the de facto version of that character. And that's what people hold on to. So when you offer up different variations of stuff, which is fine, it all depends on how you do it. It's kind of like, by the time we got Nick Fury as Sam Jackson, or vice versa, really, we already had the old cigar chomping, Nick Fury that was changed for the Ultimate Edition into Sam Jackson, basically. And that was fine. Everyone was okay with that because it was never questioned ever.
Yeah.
Right. And so that became the de facto. And now no one looks at Nick Fury and like that David Hasselhoff movie that they made for TV.
No one needs to remember.
Exactly. We're totally okay with that. But what I mean is like the way that it's, because I'm not a comics person. Like I don't read comics. Like I know characters through how they're presented in media, but I'm a media guy.
Yeah.
So like that's my angle of approach to it. And so when you look at the complaint that certain people have, what it really boils down to is just how it's presented. And so, and again, a lot of what people complain about is not about the actual quality of the product itself. What they complain about is the conversation around the product. So if you've got like, again, I'll use Ghostbusters as a prime example because I think it's a very good example. You had the first trailer come out, people attacked the trailer because the trailer was garbage.
Yeah.
And then you had the media come out, and the media said, "Oh, sexist trolls attack all-female Ghostbusters reboot."
Yeah.
Then it's
with
like,
the
wait a minute.
downvoting thing, it's like,
Yeah,
oh, they're
the downvoting
downvoting
thing
it.
was
Yeah.
stupid. And then people are like, wait a minute, hold on here. People are actually like not happy with the way that this is being presented. That's really what it boils down to. And then it was, but they're attacking the media for the media saying something. But then the actors and the director and even the head of the damn studio back the media narrative and start pushing back on the fan base that way, trying to claim that it's all sexist man baby trolls that live in their mother's basement.
Well, even the villain that they wrote into the movie.
Oh my God, the villain was an MRA,
Yeah,
but like
Rogan,
the worst characterization of an MRA. And I know the leaders of the MRA movement. So it's like, oh
And
my
didn't
God.
they defeat him by blasting him in the nuts.
Basically they hit him in the nuts. But like the character
say
had
nuts?
no arc. The character had no arc in the movie. It could have been interesting, but it was bad. My point though is like, oftentimes it's someone who says something who has a blue check mark, and that becomes the attack point. And then that gets brought up in articles on like Bounding into Comics and Cosmic Book News, and then talked about in YouTube videos or on
Those
Twitter.
are really reputable websites.
Oh yeah,
too.
but they
keep
also
using
they're
as their main source, by the
self-referential.
way.
But it's an ecosystem that's completely, you can track it, where it's like someone will say something like, what was it, Mr. H Reviews did a video talking about the Batman and how his source had told him that the movie was so dark, Warner Brothers was leery to put it out. And then he said that in a video. And then Bounding into Comics picked it up and just titled it, Batman was too dark, Warner Brothers executives were leery. And then that was the headline. And then people were running off of the headline. And you got like
It becomes a game of telephone.
Yeah, and that's all really what it boils down to. It's just a massive game of telephone. And like, I'll use RJ as an example. I saw RJ talking about it, and then I responded by saying, no, I went and I read the article, and then I followed the video, and this is what he was saying.
Well, yeah, because I quote tweeted it because I knew immediately just reading the headline where it was coming from that was a bunch of BS. So I just quote tweeted and said, this is BS. And then you follow through to where it came from. It's like, yep, that's exactly what it is. Yeah,
the whole thing is BS. Oftentimes, this whole thing is BS. But I do have to go because I only had until about 4 because I have to go get dinner for my kids. But the other thing here is when people criticize the medium, especially when it comes to dealing with social or political instances, a lot of times the people who write these stories and who also critique these stories do not have an education in the background of what they are trying to critique. And so it's emotion based versus logic, because emotion sells, logic does not. Left brain, right brain.
Yep.
And I've made this up because I spent many years criticizing like social justice warriors and like a lot of the hardcore feminist movement. And it kind of dawned on me. I'm like, I don't really have an education in this. Like, I'm a smart guy, but I don't really have a nuanced education. I have an overview opinion. But is it like how much of that is based in just pushing back on the feeling versus the merit of the argument? And that, I came to that realization a while back, and ever since that I've been really trying to like argue the points more, because so you can have that. But I think that's what a lot of it boils down to. And so that's my take on that. But I do got to run.
Thank you
guys
for coming on, Matt.
Yeah, thank you
really
for having me on.
it. Make
We'll
sure you
have to-
guys check out his channel too.
Yeah, I'll definitely be on tonight. At I think 10 p.m. Pacific will be on Hollywood After Dark. So we'll be talking about whatever the hell's going on today.
Awesome.
I
Let me
haven't
get-
prepped anything yet.
Hey, the Emmys are tonight,
Oh my God, RJ, the Emmys. Oh, finally, Viagra for my body. Jeez. A bunch of affluent rich people sitting around going like, hey, you got an award. I got one too. Cool. Want to go do blow?
Oh my God.
I used to live in
not
LA.
wrong.
It's all performative bullshit. It's
Right,
just
he's
like
not wrong.
it's really not. It's like, hey, I'm looking at it right now on Twitter, and it's just like, oh my God, look at what Bowen Yang is wearing. I don't care. Is like, get him back on SNL. I'll be happy.
Listen, first of all, shut your face, because Lady Gaga's meat dress was the best thing ever.
I've seen Lady Gaga's meat flaps. I'm okay. You know what I mean?
Wait.
Oh my.
Sorry, I had to say it. You left it wide open.
Search history. I need to
No. My search history is no.
I'm telling you, there's some sus stuff in his search history. He denies it, but I know there's some sus stuff in his search history.
Maybe this week, but for unrelated reasons.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm so sure.
Anyway, guys, have a good one. I'll talk to you all later.
Thanks,
Bye.
man.
Nice meeting you,
Nice
Blerd.
meeting you.
I'll see you guys.
Bye. All right, let me get these super chats real quick. Blerd put me on to Martha Washington, written by Frank Miller, and art by Every Gibbons. Who does the
Edward
art on that?
Gibbons, yeah.
Oh, okay. Now that needs so much more love. Let them know. Yeah, I've actually heard that. I've not read it myself, but I've heard it's really good.
It's actually a really good comic. It's very dark and can get really weird, but like I was really surprised that a black female character who is not. I mean, there's some moments where she is sexualized, but it's not like overtly sexualized,
Right.
I was very surprised that Frank Miller wrote this when at the time that was kind of like this was roughly around the same time he was making stuff like Sin City.
Oh wow! Well,
Yeah.
at least it wasn't around.
So put that
At
in your
least it
pipe.
wasn't around Holy Terror time.
Yeah, if it was Holy Terror time, I'd be a little
Yeah.
scared.
No, let's not forget the He-Man fiasco. They moan about Revelations, but the new series, which they should be pissed about the changes they accepted.
Yeah. Wasn't
Thank
Tila
you guys
race
for the
swapped?
super chats. Wasn't it what?
Wasn't Tila race swapped in that new cartoon?
Yeah.
The CGI
It
one?
was
It's like,
totally everything was changed, and now it's like, okay, I don't know the rules. I don't
Yeah,
know
it's
them.
like-
I don't get them.
what are we supposed to be mad about? Like,
The rules are Kevin Smith bad.
That's where I.
more or less. That's kind of the. Well,
That's literally it. That's the only
Fandom's
explanation.
gone too far because he's been an advocate for fans for so long, and he came up. He's one of us.
Yeah.
I'm so sick of making everyone a villain.
The only time he was a villain is when he made Batman have bladder spasms. That was weird. That's it, though.
Well,
I like Kevin Smith.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, when you hit 35, like, and this is something I think a lot of people need to really grasp onto. Well, by the time you hit age 35, no one makes anything for you. Like, you're not in the demographic. You're not in the key demo anymore that people really try and go after when they're making these, like, reboots. Like, case in point, this whole He-Man thing. Like, I mean, the Kevin Smith one is technically more for like the OG fans, technically in a way, but this newer one, this is for kids,
Yeah,
Yeah.
let them enjoy
yeah,
it.
it's for little kids trying to get them invested in the He-Man
right?
Right.
It's the same thing with the Ninja Turtles. Was the rise of the Ninja Turtles? This wasn't for us. This was for like newer fans. Like they're trying to get newer people onto these things so that they can keep the property alive and get it introduced to a new generation. Like, yeah, it's cool if we like it too, but like it's not for us.
Yeah,
like,
it was never meant for
Yeah.
us anyway.
Right.
like
Why
you
is
want
that
something
new-
made for you, go watch Castlevania. Go watch
Yeah.
Castlevania. That's for us.
Did you see that new Aquaman one? I seen a bunch of people
Oh,
upset about that.
geez,
It looks
yeah.
terrible, yeah, but it's clearly not made
a
for
comedy.
me.
Yeah, you know what?
Right.
Like,
It's not made for us.
yeah,
But that's
I
what
think
I'm
the
saying with the
animation
He-
looks bad, but it's not for me, and that's okay.
But but the thing is with the He-Man thing is like this is another example of like we're taking things that we enjoyed a long time ago. Same with like Star Wars. Like I understand people love the old works and stuff, and you can be mad at the new stuff, but at the same time, you have to understand these companies are trying to adapt. They're trying to keep the franchise relevant, and they're trying to generate new audience. And that task is not easy. It's
No.
not, because you have to understand they have to cater to the existing fans, but they also want to get new fans. They want to get the new generation of children and teenagers and adults into their franchises, because we didn't have the luxury of seeing it when it first came out. You know, people weren't there. No, you know, people who can sit there and say, how many people here were really there when Star Wars first started? The first movie back in the day. We weren't there. Right?
Not me, that's for sure.
Exactly. A lot of people aren't there. That doesn't mean you can't like Star Wars moving forward, but you have to understand they have to sometimes do things that the original fans aren't going to like, but they have to cater to the new generation. The world is changing and adapting.
Yeah.
You know, we would never see a world where gay marriage is legal, guys. Let's just call it what it is. We'll never see a world where certain things are accepted that weren't accepted back then. So they have to adapt to the changing communities and society. And it might piss some people off, and it's understandable, but you have to actually kind of maybe sometimes level with these entertainment industries, because it's not always them just trying to push agenda. Some of them are just trying to evolve to cater to the new generation of fans, the potential fans. And if they don't try and see how it works, well, how are they gonna get better? How are they gonna grow and make better stuff if they don't have any analytics to see what works and what doesn't? So they have to put out trash sometimes.
Yeah.
They have to.
An agenda isn't. I mean, it's another thing. I always hate the word agenda too, just because it always implies that like you're only
It's
good
malicious.
if you don't have one. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like honestly,
Right.
we all have an agenda. We all
Right.
have an agenda. Everything has an agenda. And I'm sorry, but if something comes out of the entertainment industry, I'm gonna be let's keep it 1 milli. 99.99999% of the time, the agenda is to get some money.
Yep,
Exactly.
capitalism.
Right.
That's
The
that's
creed is
that's the real
greed, and I'm not
agenda.
saying. And now, once again, as Saggy said, yeah, sometimes, yeah, people are legitimately trying to evolve, but you can't be mad at an entertainment industry that you give money to entertain you,
Right.
and be mad that they wanted money. Now, yeah, if it is a shameless cash grab, like if we're literally like case in point, God, I feel like I'm clubbing a baby seal, but the 2016 Ghostbusters, which we've beaten to death. We've already beaten it to death. It's in the grave. We've dug it up. We beat it down again. But that was a cash grab. Like there was maybe an attempt to maybe make a Ghostbusters for a new generation, but at the same time, I feel like this other Ghostbusters movie that they're making might just be a better attempt at that.
Yeah,
Right.
it's a much better
Yeah.
version of what the original cash grab should have been. You know,
Right.
it's a nostalgia movie. You know,
Yeah.
But well, here's the
Well-
thing though, RJ. When you guys say cash grab, here's the thing though. These companies are businesses first, and to
Yes.
keep that business
Yes, yeah.
continuing to produce entertainment, they have to make money. So something like I said, it could be a cash grab, but when they get that money, that means they can make something better because they have to get money back to produce more content. So it's like a machine. You know, they have to generate money to produce things that we enjoy. But again, they're going to have hits, they're going to have misses. But yes, the overall goal, of course, is going to be money because they need it to keep going.
no, of
So-
course. Well, my issue comes in too, where people's like, "Oh, they made this with the malicious intent to disrespect and hurt the fan base and cast them aside." I'm not saying that there's some creators out there who are looking to dig at the fans or like put their own spin on something that people love. But you don't go into an industry like this with the expectation of, I just want to ruin this property that's beloved by millions of people around the world. You want to entertain, you want to do what's best for the characters that you're entrusted with, right?
But there's got to be a way. There's got to be a way to get that happy medium where you still kind of, respect the old fan base and generate a new one. And I don't feel like there's been a really good solid line on how to do that. Maybe we'll see with something like The Walking Dead. Is
The
that what you
Walking
said?
Dead's done it. Yeah, The Walking
Yeah.
Dead has done it.
Yeah, I didn't watch the
successfully.
show. I didn't watch
Yeah.
the show. I just
So
I haven't
if
seen the
you-
new one either, so I have no
if-
clue how
if
good it
you-
is. But I mean, I'll give them kudos for trying.
Right. So for Walking Dead, the reason why I use Walking Dead as a perfect example of how you can cater to the fans and also change some things up is that they've taken the canon material, did the story as it is in the comics, but they had minor changes. It's like certain characters from the first season, because I know I can spoil it because I'm sure people who've watched it, you at least seen the first season. Now, the first season, some characters had dramatic changes, and these were changes for the better. Carol is a perfect example of a character they took from the comics and made her a better character. Carol was supposed to die a long ass time ago.
Like she was a very
supposed to-
terrible character.
Right, and
Not
she
like
was-
she was a bad person, but she just
Right.
she was
Her
a non-character.
Right. Her character was, I'm a crybaby. I'm mentally messed up in the head. And they showed that in the original first part of that show that Carol was damaged. Her husband was beating her. She was kind of trapped in a toxic relationship. When he died, she had to discover herself in the show. And that was shown more in that season. So they were kind of true to The Walking Dead as far as the comic and the original source, but they made changes that made it work and made the show really good when it first started. You know,
Well, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, just to add off, like, that's an example of, like, you can cater to the fans that have been there, and then also do changes to make it better.
Well, what have you been playing on your Twitch channel, Saggy? The Telltale video game. That got a lot of people into the Walking Dead franchise who didn't give a crap about the TV show or the comics because it was just a great video game that expanded upon the lore. There was even some connection. I think Glenn was in there, wasn't he?
Yeah, because the Walking Dead, the game, the Telltale game, it had more to do with the comic than it did anything else.
Right.
Yeah, that
it
was
was,
mostly
but
about
they
comic.
did introduce Characters like Glenn were there, and I want to say they even did an episode about Michonne.
Yeah,
there was a Michonne one, yeah.
So the first season of that game, they had Herschel. You go to Herschel's farm,
Yeah,
and then you
Herschel,
also meet
that's right.
Glenn. And then they did a whole thing with Michonne. So yeah, like I said, that's why I say there's some moments where you can be true, like Nerdette said. You could, or Tristan, you could be true to the original fans and also try to do something that brings in new fans. Which The Walking Dead, I feel like, did that like spot on.
Well, there's another thing when it comes to adaptation of comics, like we see recently with the Winter Soldier and Falcon, because if you think about it, if you're going to take those storylines, you cannot do. I know they did it in Invincible, pretty much very similar, but you cannot do one-to-one adaptations. What is the point of knowing the end of the story? I get the journey's great getting there. And I do like that how Invincible, they kind of move some stuff up and move some stuff back. But it was pretty much a one-to-one adaptation. I knew what was going to happen from the first episode.
It was damn near Sin City. It was damn near the Sin City live action.
Which, hey, that's fine for me because I never read Invincible before I watched the show. So for me, I was a new viewer getting into it, and I was very impressed by all of it. But
it's a great story.
Oh yeah, it's one of Robert Kirkman's. But honestly, I think Invincible's better than Walking Dead.
Oh yeah.
As far as his
thanks
body
for
of
having
work
me, guys.
goes.
I appreciate being here, but I can't deal with this Walking Dead hate right now.
No, come back.
Yeah.
I'm retired. You guys
but Tristan, to your point, like I know it was controversial when it came out a little bit, but I loved Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Oh, I did too.
Yeah.
And I'm not for sure if people feel the same way, but I thought that the handling of how Falcon became Captain America was much better executed here than even was in the comics.
I completely agree.
I agree.
They handled all the criticism in the storyline.
I hated how Captain America's like, I'm a hero, but I'm going to be selfish. I'm going to come back as an old man and pass it over. And then it's like, bro, you're a superhero. You can't be selfish, damn it. It's not what that's not what heroes do.
That part aside, like the rest of it, I thought was fine.
I will not accept old Captain America. No old man Steve Rogers.
It was the entire build of his character.
You're old Melonz.
Saggy.
You're retired Melonz.
Yes, I'm retired Melonz.
You're retired. That's what he did.
No. He still
She kind of looks like old man Cap in that picture.
Yeah, you and Cap.
Oh God,
I could easily see that.
Yeah,
let's ship retired Melonz and old Cap.
Captain America's like, I'm done fighting. I'm a superhero who kicked ass and saved the world numerous times, but I'm deciding to go back in time. No, screw him and his stupid selfishness and go back to be an old man.
It's okay. It's okay, Saggy.
No, I'm angry.
Get it.
No, I don't care. I don't want to get it. I'm angry.
Even look at like and I know I don't know, your mileage with this will vary, but like I know like one of the things that I noticed looking at the Hawkeye trailer that recently came out. If you've read Matt Fraction's Hawkeye, you can literally see like the first 2 or 3 issues of the first volume.
It's 1-to-1
right there in the trailer.
Of it being during Christmas time, and this was the funniest thing to me because I did a couple of videos that got a lot of traction about some of the Fandom Menace's reaction to those trailers, and they were complaining saying, "Oh, it looks like shite. Oh, this character, she's better than Clint Barton. She's got to replace him." I'm like, have you read a comic? Have you read Matt Fraction's comic?
Clint even comes out and says that Kate is better than him.
Yeah, in some points, yeah. But even in the exact same trailer, they literally say, "Oh, she's better than him," and like, "I'm the world's greatest archer." And Clint's in the trailer's like, "Are you one of those people?" And then they keep showing Kate failing to further amplify the point that she's not perfect and that he's going to train her and make her even better than him. Right? Or not even better than him, but actually like help ground her and help her become the hero she obviously wants to be.
Yeah,
but apparently that's woke because it's a female character, and they're claiming.
Of course, it is.
Have they not read Young Avengers?
Have they?
No, they haven't.
I'm gonna go on a limb here and say no.
Probably not. You're probably right.
But even I love the way that looked. I thought it did a really good job. Like the Matt Fraction line is really good, anyways, and I feel like one thing that drives me crazy is you brought up the Fandom Menaces. So it's like everything. Girls are the bestest ever, and it's talking about womans, and I'm like, do you realize how in a way, I don't give a shit, but do you realize how disrespectful that is? Considering I've actually read these things.
Yeah.
Do you know?
I mean, pause. for the record, we're talking about the same people who took the scene from He-Man with a father apologizing to his daughter, and the caption they said was "Respect woman." I'm like, no.
So ignorant,
It's
juvenile.
called
It's like I
respect your
can't believe
kids.
grown men talk.
Right,
like
it-
and,
it's like-
and this is the issue I have, where it feels like it's dog whistling to a certain subsection of the internet, who I will blatantly say it's dog whistling to incels.
Well, it's a
That is
big
exactly
market
what
on
it's
the
trying to
internet.
do.
Ooh,
People
don't
that
say that
can't
yucky
function
word,
in society
gross.
and hate people that can. There's
I'm
a
just
big
saying,
market for that on the internet.
it's sometimes you got to look at some people's opinions and be like, do you actually believe that, or are you just saying it for the sake
Or
of saying
is it a grift? Yeah.
Right. Like that's where the problem is that, you know, it's one thing if there's truth to what you're saying or if it's your opinion, but it's another if you're just, when I saw that caption, I was like, now y'all are just fishing. Now I can see why people sometimes got beefs
Well,
with
yeah,
y'all.
and going back to the Hawkeye trailer, I had some people telling me, even on the YouTube commentary scene, where people were like, "Oh yeah, they're introducing Kate Bishop. She's a woke character like Riri Williams." I'm like, she was never a woke character. She was introduced before, like, because you know what they're trying to attack, right? The all new, all different era of Marvel, right? That's what they're trying to go after. But she was introduced in Young Avengers way
Which was
before
it was
that.
a good bit before that.
Yeah, it was like what, 2005, I believe.
Honestly, I think they would have more. Yeah, no, you're correct. I believe you're correct, but I think they would actually take more umbrage with comic book Kate Bishop than they would the TV show version. I figured they would love the TV show version because the comic book version of Kate Bishop, she shows up and is automatically a badass, like off rip, and is out here like calling shots and like directing traffic and like and getting the team like where they need to be. And it's like, yo, I figured they would hate that more. I mean, I'm all in for it. I'm not afraid of a strong woman. But you know,
Call me.
I'm just saying. I'm not afraid. I'm not scared. I'm not scared. I don't.
What about a retired strong woman?
Yeah. I don't get offended when I see a woman being good at something in the same space that like a man is good at something.
Yeah.
It's like,
and again,
it's not scary. It's not scary. It's okay. It's fine.
Yeah.
My ego's not that fragile. But yeah, I just don't understand the hate. It's like, here's the thing. If you see, if you're one of these fandom menace people, you're one of these people who kind of thinks in that same vein, you're one of these people who like, oh my God, woman, you know, all this other stuff. Here's the thing. Maybe just assume that this ain't for you and don't watch it.
But here's the thing, they will never go into that mindset where they're just gonna be like, well, I'm just not gonna watch it. I reacted to heel versus babyface watching the trailers like, oh, someone please kill me. I should be playing video games. Why am I doing
Then go
this?
do it.
Yeah,
I'm like,
you can literally cut the trailer off.
They don't exist without these characters.
Yeah.
That no one's going to listen to a word they say without they use the characters.
Yeah, their platform is built on being reactionary and complaining about things. And the thing is, the Star Wars well is dried up for them because Star Wars is in a much better place thanks to the TV shows like Mandalorian and The Bad Batch. Marvel's an easy target. Why? Because they have like something coming out pretty much every single month this year.
Yeah.
So it's like,
oh wait, when the Marvels, I can't wait for when the Marvels is.
Oh, dude, they were
I can't wait.
When the title got announced, we're like, we won. Brie Larson is getting demoted because it's not called Captain Marvel 2. We won, everybody. I'm like, what?
I'm gonna play devil's advocate here, right? Because
let me get this super chat real quick before.
Yes.
Don't forget what you were gonna say. Naomi was new. People hated and called her DC's Riri. I actually didn't think Naomi was that bad. I
like Naomi.
Yeah, like that was Brad Walker and Bendis, right?
Pretty sure. It was David F. Walker. David F. Walker, Brian Michael Bendis.
It was not bad at all.
Well, do you guys like?
No, it wasn't bad. It was good. It was. I will also say too, I know people don't like Riri Williams, but also tell people that, you know, if you know where Riri comes from, especially if you read the Evel Ewing Riri Williams Ironheart series, I think a lot of people's opinions on that character would change.
I think it was the quick introduction. I think once you've got her, there was a lot fleshed out that was done way better.
Hold on. Wait, I gotta do my
devil's
usual
advocate.
thing.
Go.
Yeah, no, not even devil's advocate, because I just saw something that I got a little triggered over, so I gotta pop off real quick. So somebody in your chat is saying, okay, as a black man, I have suddenly realized something. The podcast is shit. If you guys side with Kate Bishop BS, then you mother effers are contributing to the 4K problem. Bye. First of all, you got two people of color on this panel. So that whole as a black man is a dumb argument. You got 2 black people on this panel first and foremost. So that you shouldn't even start it off with that. Secondly, these are opinions, darling. We have opinions just like everyone else. And if you don't like it, that is fine. That's your prerogative. But you getting mad is the problem. This is the problem with this community and why people think people are toxic. Because you can't handle an opinion that is different from yours. We can have the discussion and not agree with each other on this panel, and we are still friends at the end of the day. That is the difference between us and everybody else, like you, who is getting triggered and mad and calling us mother effers and popping off and making that huge explosion you did in the chat. And that's the problem. So here's the thing. You are entitled to your opinion of us. That's fine. But please check that at the door and don't be a hypocrite coming at us because you don't like what we're saying. It's opinions. These aren't facts. These are opinions and these are thoughts, just like yours. We are.
I love Saggy.
Like you, bro.
Well, everyone's life experience is different. Just because you're and I don't want to speak for people, but you're a certain ethnicity and you feel a certain way doesn't mean that's the same for someone else.
I hate when people do that, when they use the as a black person. Well, hey, sweetheart, as a black woman, I can have my opinions.
Yeah.
As a black woman, you want to play that card. And homeboy down there, as a black man, he has his opinions. Sorry you're mad. But that was not okay to be popping off and say, I'm a black man. Please.
Just because you're black doesn't necessarily automatically like render your opinion for you. Like it doesn't automatically mean all of our opinions are in unison. We're not like some collective hive mind.
Right. That's disrespectful to other people. Yeah, because I'm this means it's fact. You know?
I hate when black people do that. And I'm going to say black people because I've had so many interactions with people of color who try to speak for me. You don't speak for me. I am my own independent my own independent mind. And I don't do that high mentality.
Behavior.
Right, exactly. And coming in there with that energy triggered me because I hate when I see it. I hate seeing it.
I don't care if someone doesn't like the Hawkeye trailer. I just want to clarify that because I've seen that go around too. Oh, you guys are just upset because people don't like the latest. No, my issue has always been when people just lie to their audience or are pushing such blatant misinformation. Like, literally watch some of their trailer reactions where they ignore details that prove the points they're trying to make false. Like, oh, Kate Bishop's better than Clint Barton and everything. That's what the show's going to push, that the woman's better than the man, even though the show is showing you that she's making mistakes, crashing through the window, failing in front of him, blowing up a bell tower, getting caught. Like, such obvious things that anybody watching could easily clue in on, but they ignore it because it doesn't make their point sound as strong. Because again, if anything, they're pushing a narrative.
Would defeat their entire argument.
Exactly.
Right. And it would literally give them no reason to exist. It would literally, and honestly, I blame their audience. Their audience, I mean, granted, yes, these people are lying to their audience, but their audience is also not smart enough to recognize sometimes.
I don't even know if it's about being smart, if it's more so just like look at somebody like Doomcock, for example. Everyone knows that guy is full of crap, but the reason people listen to him is because in their minds, he's giving them a sense of hope. It's like, you're giving me the idea that maybe this thing I desperately want to happen will come true. It's like, it's about feeding into a confirmation bias. That's what that's why they listen to them, because they tell them exactly what they want to hear and they give them a new target to go after each and every
They get to exist in that echo chamber.
Yeah.
And it's an addiction to anger.
Yeah.
Oh,
no.
Outrage. Anger, absolutely.
Outrage. It sells. I can actually go back and look at times where I've been like really angry about something, even if it was rightfully so. And like people are like, oh yeah, man, I like it when he gets angry. And it's like, but I don't want to be angry. My mental health is more important than my wallet.
Right.
So I don't. That's why I always tell people I don't like the fake outrage. I don't like the pretending to be. Oh my God, my stars and garters, they changed. So I don't care. I don't. I literally do not care sometimes.
And here's why I was going to play devil's advocate, because when it comes to content creators, like what Ardy was saying, who talk about these things and they always making reaction videos of things they don't like. It's like, I think what it is like these people have found their shtick, right? Something that works for them. And listen, I don't hate anyone's hustle. You do you. But we could criticize them, sure. But at the same time, like, I think as viewers, when you're watching certain YouTube creators, remember these are their opinions. These aren't just something that they're saying as fact. These are how they feel. These are their opinions. When you go into these YouTubers who are doing these outrage things and you're getting mad with them, cool. If that's where you feel, cool. But at the same time, that's just what it is. I don't think that some of these people are necessarily absolute garbage. I don't know these people. But when it comes to YouTube, I have learned that sometimes people just do it because that's their shtick. That's their thing. That's what gets the views up, and that's what gets them paid for the month if they're monetized. And that's just what the game is. You just have to acknowledge you just have to acknowledge that it's a game and not take it so seriously, and then you'll be okay.
Well, here's the thing I would say about that, though. I agree. I don't know these people individually, and I would never, ever, ever make a personal attack towards them because that's not what I'm about. I will never go after them personally. But the problem is that even if they are pushing it as just their opinion, I would argue that a lot of their audience uses them to dictate their own feelings about something, and they start to push a narrative where it's like their audience eats it up and treats their words as gospel to where they push a certain narrative. Again, with the Kate Bishop thing. Because of these trailer reaction videos, I'm seeing so many people say that Kate Bishop's a woke character and like she's this and that she was meant to be a replacement to Clint Barton. Like blatant misinformation that an easy Google search could solve.
Yeah.
But because they're listening to these certain people who are lying to them, basically, they're taking it as gospel and it's spreading around like a wildfire.
But
That's where the issue comes in.
But RJ, here's the thing that people don't understand, okay? These YouTube channels, they have their established, locked-in audience. These are people who aren't watching us critique them, right? Some of them, maybe. We might get a few people from that camp that comes and checks us out because they're curious, might report back, whatever. But as far as it's concerned, every YouTube content creator on this platform has their locked-in audience who, no matter what we say or what anyone else does, they are in it for the content creator, so it doesn't matter. The content creator can't do no wrong because they have an established fan base, and that's it is what it is. I mean, we can talk about them, we can critique them, we can have people come to us who also agree with our take. Same with them. That's just like I said, when you recognize the game in the YouTube community, especially, then you don't take it as seriously. Because you understand there's nothing we can do to change the narrative. We can't change the narrative. That's the narrative their audience is locked in on. We can't change their minds until they do something that messes it up for their people who are locked in. There's nothing we can do. We could talk about it. We can have a conversation, but there's nothing that's going to change. It starts with the audience.
Not even facts and evidence.
Right. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Not even facts and evidence.
Evidence? Evidence.
I know it's
how dare you say that word?
No, I can show sales figures. I can show I can show everything that came out for the week and be like, okay, this is woke and this is it. Not so. Maybe 5% of the comics are woke. Some of them may be bad. There's no doubt about that.
It's not pointless to
but
push
I can
back,
show
though.
it over and over again and over again, and it doesn't matter. Facts are not something that. I don't know why they've just disappeared upon people.
That, Tristan, it's good to push back against misinformation and bad info
and
stuff.
And it is.
And people are under the influence, unfortunately. I always hated the social media influencer. I'm like, people don't really get influenced. Yes, they do.
Yeah, they do. You know what drives me crazy? The one thing that drives me insane is this, they're the Google normies and they don't actually buy comics. How the fuck do you know that? How do you know that? Clearly, there is being bought somewhere. So how do you know that is not the audience that buy it?
Like say nobody wants this or only weirdos. That's also
it's a way to shut people up.
Yeah.
Well, I remember what they did that with Miss Marvel. When Kamala Khan was first came out, they were like, "Oh, nobody asked for this, nobody wants this." But I remember being on social media around the time that it was released, and I saw tons of people.
It was a big
holding
deal.
that comic up.
Yeah,
yeah, that really sold well.
Yeah,
they had a hit on their hands.
But then they claim, Carol Danvers, Kamala Khan, Kate Bishop. Oh, these characters nobody likes, and their comics keep getting canceled, and they don't look into the context behind it.
How many times has Iron Man been relaunched?
Right,
it's like a new #1 every other month.
It's deceptive practices in the comic book industry. It has nothing to do with it's why #1s really, really sell. Put a couple more variant covers on it. It's going to sell even better. It is in as much as they don't want to believe it, all new, all different did sell because they were all new, all different key comics, speculators market. You're gonna people buy that. There's people out there that buy comics just for speculation, don't actually read them. And more power to them. They're getting sales. I don't care.
Hell,
But
they buy them well, I remember people literally going out of the way like, oh, wait, this might be a key issue.
Yep.
This might be a key issue down the road. I'm just going to buy it anyway. I'm not going to read it.
Yep, absolutely. I've got Batman Damned just because of the Batawing. I know that's gonna sell. Like,
I remember
buy
being mad at myself because I remember before the Batman Who Laughs was like played out, I remember on a whim buying that. I think it was the issue of I think it was Teen Titans was like one of the tie-ins for Dark Knight's Metal, and that was technically the first actual appearance of the Batman Who Laughs. I had that comic and literally just was like, yep. And I remember thinking about man, I wish I was in the speculators market because I totally could have made some money just now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Let me get the super chat. That's right. In it for the content and the content creators' relatable views. Hashtag #BlerdQA. Thank you Talila House. Maybe?
Talila House.
Okay, thank you so much.
I would just call him House. I would just forget the first part. I can't say, you're just House.
It took me a long time.
Talila. That's a cool name.
I butcher shit, so I'm notorious
Same.
for it.
I literally, if I can't say your name, I'll just say the first letter. Oh, you're T now. You're just T.
What's up, T House?
What up, T House?
Oh my god.
Yeah, but I think overall it's interesting, right? Because just speaking personally, the last couple weeks I've definitely gone hard on a certain subsection of YouTube, the commentary space, who's really been pushing the this Marvel thing sucks, this Marvel thing's woke, and kind of I truly believe with the whole Shang-Chi box office, that whole narrative, Simu Liu calling them out and them getting all upset over that.
Big market for that type of content now.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. I think even myself have given in a little bit to that aggressive side a little bit, and
I'm sorry, I had to show. It's a sexy Blerd.
Lewis, we love you, Lewis. I love you, Lewis.
Nice.
Lewis Cox is great.
You.
Wrench on my channel, always supportive, hilarious person. Much love to Lewis Cox.
That's awesome. Yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, RJ. Go ahead.
No, it's all good. No, I was just saying, for example, the past 2 weeks, I've been combating a lot of misinformation and giving my own takes on what I see in the commentary space in regards to certain things from certain people claiming everything's woke. But the thing is, it's not something I want to do with my channel 24/7. I can't be a Max who wants to watch that stuff and go. I can't. The best way I know how to combat a lot of what I see is just through positive content and doing my own thing. Will I occasionally talk about it when I need to if I feel it needs to be addressed? Absolutely, but it's not what I want my channel to be built around. I think fighting negativity with positivity is important. I think that's the key thing.
This is the thing. That is the YouTube game, especially in the commentary community. That's just what it is. And you have to, the moment you guys accept that that's just the reality, you're going to be mad about certain YouTubers, especially when you used to watch them. How many times have I heard stories when people come to my channel, first thing they say, and I've seen it in your chat tonight, Tristan, I used to watch Geeks and Gamers. I used to watch Fandom Menace. Yeah. That's the key thing. They used to, and there's a reason why they don't now. And now they're looking for people that share that sentiment. I've had to explain this because of the drama that happened, which is kind of why I'm taking a step back. But that's what it is that people are here on this platform watching YouTube channels, feeling some type of way, and then something will happen. These people are just looking for other people who share their opinion. Yeah. Right. So when RJ came around, he saw Max. He started watching other YouTuber channels, and then he became a content creator himself. And this is what it is. It's just the game. When you find people that share your opinions, you're going to rally around those people. That makes the most sense. You want to be around people who understand you and feel the same thing you feel. And this is why you have the commentary community. That's why you have people like Geeks and Gamers. They did the same thing. They felt upset about something. They rallied around people who shared that sentiment. Now we have Geeks and Gamers and Fandom Menace because they created a community. And that's just what other people on the other side are doing. It's the same, like people said in the chat, and as much as Demented has been kind of saying some craziness, he has the point that we are just the same type of people who just don't agree with each other. That's what it comes down to at the very core of everything.
And I think it's important also to say if that community helped those people, then that's fucking awesome. If those community
of course.
made you feel like you belong, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's not the issue I think anybody has with it. I think the issue is the misinformation. And then when we do, like RJ is absolutely right. 100%. The way to, kind of combat stuff like that is simply by being positive, but being positive on YouTube will get you nowhere. And that's unfortunately the truth. I try to do something positive almost every day. And that's why I started doing like bringing on comic book professionals to tell their side, the behind the scenes version of it. And those, you would think that the advertising a video that the writer of Titans is talking about writing Titans would do really good. No, but my Titans season 3 sucks video did amazing. Like it's like it's really, really hard, and you just kind of got to keep pushing that envelope.
Just for my example, like what's the most popular video on my channel? It's a video about the Shang-Chi box office and Geeks and Gamers. Outside of that, the only video I've ever done that popped off is when I did like a video breaking down the story behind why the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer leaked. Like I did some research and dove into that, and it got a lot of attention. Outside of that, I don't get a lot of views, and that's perfectly fine. I don't care. I'm not in this. I'm not in this for the money. I want to do this for fun.
Here's the thing: if you want to grow as a content creator, and I'm not a huge content creator, but I've literally grown a lot in a short period of time, which is amazing, and I'm grateful. But this is the thing: you have to learn balance with your content. Like one day, if you see something that ticks you off, boot up a live stream, talk about it. But if you're doing this every single day, guess what? Now you're just looking like a drama channel. Now people say I'm a drama channel. That's partially true. I do talk about a lot of drama, but I talk about things that make me mad, or if it's something that I want to have a good discussion about. Cool. But then again, once you start growing and you see the numbers will tell you everything about what people are here for. When I did my goodbye stream, I had 60 people there because they came for the drama. Let's be real. That's what it was. Drama. They wanted to know, well, why is Saggy leaving? Why is she putting her feelings out there? Because they come for the drama. That's what it is. And that's fine. But let's just be real. It's true. Positivity ain't going to get you clicks.
No.
Well,
people ain't watching positivity.
Can I say something that really is like, I don't know why there's such like some people even in the chat. Oh, but talking about their content creators, but demonizing people in the industry. Like there's this weird cult of YouTube. You can't correct another YouTuber. You just protect and, have this wall of YouTubers. You can't criticize me, even if I was wrong, because I'm team YouTube. But we're all just talking about people too in the industry. And I don't like this demonization of people giving us our entertainment. They should be celebrated. Yes, there's a way to critique them if they mess up. Yes.
It's about numbers. It's always been about numbers. Look at the things. When we talk about other people, we're usually talking about people.
Everyone's talking about other people.
But here's the thing. We talk about people who have bigger platforms than us.
Right, of course.
And these people who have bigger platforms, who do they talk about? People in the industry who have power and money. It's it's a hierarchy, basically. You have the poor going after the middle class, going after the rich. That's literally what the standard is. And that's what it is. Because again, you have these people that we are talking about who aren't talking about us. They're not talking about other YouTubers. They're talking about the industry. But what are we doing? Talking about the YouTubers, talking about the industry.
Well, the thing that's always kind of made me upset is the fact that I feel like attacking. We're attacking anybody, creator, in the entertainment industry or content creator, whatever, whoever. I've never been a fan of that, just because. Well, at least like expressly going after them. Yeah,
it's not an attack even if you consistently criticize them. That's not an attack. This is so hyperbolic on the internet right now.
Yeah,
I criticize you every time you mess up and say something stupid. Unfortunately, the usual suspects say it every day.
Right. It's like, if I boot up every video and just say, hey, this is Ernie, Blerd Without Fear, welcome back to the channel, whatever. Oh yeah, by the way, fuck fill in the blank so and so, guy who writes or woman who writes so and so comic. Just start going ham on them or whatever. It's I don't like stuff like that. Like
it's always the same too. It's always the same too. It's always at least for the comic book industry, which is my forte, but it's always Vita Ayla or Joe Glass or this or this.
Yeah.
And it's like, how many videos can you make about Vita Ayla? How many times can you look at her Twitter feed? How many times can you keep doing the same thing over and over again? Why do I just, it drives me crazy.
You want to hear something crazy, Tristan?
Of course.
Vita is one of the nicest fucking people.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, like, okay, so ways back, I did a video talking about one of their comics, and I had tagged them in it. Mm-hmm. And then, like, it started a discourse because people weren't happy about something that happened in it. And they DM me on Twitter and pulled me to the side. I was like, hey, I really appreciate if in the future you don't tag me and stuff like this. I don't really like to be, dragged down in all the discourse. Because, it's for mental health reasons, so on and so forth. I don't like, because, sometimes people like to try and attack me. And I was like, you know what? I was like, I really appreciate that you didn't like yell at me. You didn't like try and dress me down. Like you stepped to me like an adult to another adult and said, hey, I don't like that you did this. Can you please not do it again? And you weren't being like an asshole about it. And even after that, we continue talking in DMs afterward, just about bullshit.
That's amazing.
And that's why, that's why I always tell people, you don't know. Kind of like you were saying earlier about Brian Hill. And I feel bad about Brian Hill because I have criticized one of Brian Hill's comics like to the death. But I love the guy. He's
Fallen Angels.
Yes, Fallen Angels. Yeah, I have talked mad shit about that comic. But here's the thing. I love just about everything else Brian Hill has done. But like it's one of those situations where I feel like a lot of times we forget these are people.
Yep.
They're not, punching bags for us to like regularly hit because we're mad.
Exactly. And that's why I've taken such a big issue with like the constant Brie Larson videos or like demonizing Kathleen Kennedy. I can't stand that. It's like why, like, in the case of both Brie Larson and Kathleen Kennedy, I'd argue it's like they've basically made it to where they're not even people to the internet now. They don't treat them as people. It's like they're
have any ever watched Brie Larson's YouTube channel?
I have actually, yeah.
That woman is wholesome. Leave that woman alone.
Yeah, she just like playing her Animal Crossing and Nintendo
things
games
before, like everyone has.
I want to touch base on what Blerd said because not to get into too many details, but that's like partially why I'm taking a step back because when it comes to the YouTube community, there are things like, you make connections with people, you meet new people, you get to know them as who they are. And then, sometimes there'll be instances where people are just like, they'll put their YouTube in drama before friendship. And that's what I don't like. I don't like people doing things like, don't be a YouTube content creator and make it seem like you are a real person. You just keeping it 100 and all that stuff. And then behind the scenes, you're snaking people. That's not okay. And there's a lot of stuff like that going on behind the scenes with a lot of people in the YouTube community because and the viewers aren't going to see it, but then people will just throw friends under the bus for clicks for the week. And it's like it's crazy because that's the problem again. And I when I started my channel, I wanted to change that. I wanted to be as real, open, and honest as a content creator. And if I'm talking about another YouTuber, I try to do it in a way that's like, I'm not attacking them, but I am going to critique their opinion. And I've tried very hard to do that. Like I said, I saw a comment early in the chat, again, going back to that, where somebody was like, I like Saggy, but I don't like the company she keeps. Here's the thing. The company
everyone.
Am I a problem child now too? I don't know.
Yes, you are probably all y'all in trouble except for Tristan and Blerd.
Yes, I'm the golden child.
Right? My thing is, I like to meet and talk to a lot of people because I like to have conversations like this all the time because it helps me understand where other people are coming from. It helps me when I talk about certain topics, it helps me kind of do it in a less like biased sense. And I like that I talk to a lot of people, whether people like them or not, because it does. I'm not a hug box. I don't want to be a hug box. I don't want to close myself off from being able to talk, especially when you're criticizing somebody else. You cannot be a hug box. You need, if you're going to talk about another YouTuber, you better be willing to have that talk with that YouTuber, no matter how big or small they are. That should be how it is.
Be prepared to catch the smoke.
Exactly. So if you're gonna
Be
talk,
prepared.
if you're gonna criticize somebody, make sure you can take criticism back.
No,
Let me get
Oh, I
this.
talk shit about people. They've come back to me, and I'm like, usually it's people I legitimately am just like, I don't care about you. You're a terrible human being. Like, yeah, I
Right.
I will be the first one to say I have personally gone out of my way at times. No, I won't say too far out of my way, but there have been times where like the quartering. Sometimes on Twitter, I'll be like, yeah, fuck that motherfucker. And I'll be like, I was like, that motherfucker ain't shit. And I will at him and be like, oh yeah, that motherfucker, yeah, he ain't shit. But the thing is, if he says something back to me, I'm not gonna be like, oh my god.
He was literally in the chat of one of Max's streams.
Yeah,
one
he
time,
showed up
and
on
I
my
went-
stream.
and we
like
No,
the video.
no, seriously, I was watching. Yeah, Cording showed up in Max's channel a few nights back, and I went on there to correct something that was being said. I hopped in there, and before I left, I said, "Oh, by the way, Cording's a piece of shit." I wasn't starstruck. I was out. Bye.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
Listen, I ain't kissing no
yeah.
YouTubers' ass for nothing. I talk to a lot of YouTubers that have big platforms.
Oh,
They're my
here's
friends
Tony.
now. No, I'm just saying, it ain't about like if you're real, people will recognize you're real, and if they
Exactly.
like what you do, they'll support you. That's what it should be. It shouldn't be like, hey, I'm gonna kiss your ass because you have 1 million subscribers. You know, give me a shout out plug. No, it's like get to know me, because the last thing I want is for you to plug my channel, have all these people come to my channel not knowing who I am, what kind of content I do, and be like, I don't like this bitch. You know?
Yep, exactly. Let me get this super chat real quick. Max, are you ready to debate next week?
Oh,
Tony follows
Nico
you everywhere,
rocks
man.
forever. Oh my god.
Thank you
for
for
me everywhere. He's
Forced
chasing my clout.
Adversity. Thank you so much for becoming a
New
member.
member.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, buddy.
That's major props.
Did
there
I
for
just say that
Forced
Forced
Yeah,
Adversity's
absolutely.
avatar of like baby Groot is
Yeah.
Joker
It's
is
so
one of the
cute.
it's one of the greatest things
Hey,
I've ever seen in my entire
I didn't
life.
see it. What did
Here,
I
I'll put it
say?
back up.
The Joker
His
baby
edit,
Groot.
if you ever seen his videos, his editing is so damn good. I'm like, I just need to learn how to do this
That's
a little bit better.
cute. I love
I
it.
love it.
That's awesome. No, but yeah, I love these conversations. And, you know, like I said, when I started doing YouTube, I really, you know, didn't understand until I started meeting other YouTubers and stuff. Like you got to judge these YouTubers for who they are, try to get to know them if you get an opportunity, because some of them aren't as bad as they might be appearing on the screen. Like, we all here probably pissed off a few YouTubers before, but at the end of the day, if they want the conversation, I'm always willing to have it, as long as, you know, you level with me and we can even agree to disagree. That's what it should be. It shouldn't be always a fight or an argument.
Well, that's why I originally got a Blerd, because I had done a video on tokenization, right? Young Rippa always talking about tokenization. It's always the same excuse. I don't like this because tokenization. I don't like it because it's tokenization.
Isn't Young Rippa the same guy who said Miles Morales is a token character?
Yes.
Oh, I've also gotten into it with him as well.
That's what I got a hold of you for. And I was like, do I want to go on this stream? And I watched his original stream with Rippa, and Rippa didn't, just constantly gaslit, didn't let you talk. And then the chat was.
He also talked
terrible.
about how famous he was and how
Yes.
he's more than a YouTuber. And I don't know if he edited this out, but I actually caught him in a moment of ignorance, because I asked him how he felt, because he talked about tokenization. I said, well, how do you feel about legacy characters?
Yeah,
And he was like, "Oh, I'm I'm perfectly fine with so and so. I was like, who's your favorite Green Lantern? I was like, do you like John Stewart? He's like, no, I don't like John Stewart because he's a token character and he's not in the original Green Lantern.
What?
Hal Jordan
Yes.
should be it was the original Green Lantern. I said, actually, you're wrong. It's Alan Scott, but that's a whole other. And I caught him with all this stuff. Like, it was like he may know a lot about comics. He may have Googled some shit. I don't know, but I don't think he ever actually reads the shit he talks about.
I know, because I did my tokenization video, and it was like, the tokens are bad unless the one was like Green Lantern or Wally West isn't token because he's white. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't understand your reasoning, but I'm gonna do have you ever read all these tokenization if you're a different color? So I'm like, have you read, Kay Kane, Batgirl, all of these characters, and by your definition are tokens.
Yeah.
Do you know comics? So I said yes to the debate, and he ghosted me. So I kind of figured
he's not a he's garbage. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, exactly. Let me
put him in the same box with the quartering.
Yeah.
This was that scene too, because he says the talking points. He's not. I mean, I respect his opinion, I guess, but it's the same talking points every time.
Every time. The YouTuber thing.
Yes, this is very enjoyable, Raymond. Thank you. This is very enjoyable and enlightening stream, but I have to get going. I hope you have a wonderful evening. You too, Raymond. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for stopping by. That's awesome. But yeah, it's always like, I don't like this. This is choking, and it's everything. Like it's everything you see in media.
I'm just shocked. I never thought I'd live in a world where somebody would actually make the argument that Jon Stewart's a token character. That I
want to see that video. I didn't know he said
it's up still. I watched the whole thing and I was like, well, okay, yeah, I guess I'll try this. So I went about the whole debate. Yes, I'll do a debate with you, but we're gonna have a moderator. No, we don't need that. Like, fine, then put your fucking money where your mouth is and debate me on comics. And
excuse me, there is only one Green Lantern, okay, and that is Wayne T. Carr.
Here's the sad thing, though. The sad thing about it was, like, the whole time that this whole debate thing was going on between he and I, like, he was talking about, how he was being nothing but nice. But the whole time that I was looking at his chat was being so rude and so evil and just so malicious towards me. They were talking shit about my family. They were talking shit about my mother. They were talking shit about my daughter. They were saying all kinds of fucked up shit in that chat. And he tried to pretend as though his chat was being friendly to me. And I was like, because I told him, I said, you as a content creator, you have a responsibility.
Yes.
To your community. You are representative of your community, whether you realize it or not. Right. If your community is dogging me, and let's be fair, they don't know me. They don't know me. Like, I think there were some of them who did.
Yeah.
Because they follow me and him as I guess collectively or whatever. But like there were a lot of them who literally just hated me because he was mad that I basically told him that he was a reactionary and that he was a grifter.
Right. So you were going in there already seen as basically the enemy in the chat, kind of like added on to that.
My chat knows better. My chat knows damn well because my mods and RJ's one of them, Mad Max one of them, and Lewis is one of them. My chat knows I don't censor anybody for having different opinion. If you don't like my guest, you can have your opinion. But when you get to personal attacks, bye.
Exactly.
And I tell my chat all the time.
It's a timeout, no questions asked.
And I tell my chat all the time, if I ever see a single person that comes to my chat and is a subscriber to me, and I see them in somebody else's chat saying some shit like that, I'm blocking them from my channel. I do have no tolerance for personal attacks on people like that. That's I'm that YouTube content creator. I understand that it makes me look bad. If I talk about somebody on my channel, a YouTube content creator, I always say, don't go over there and start nothing. If I see it, you're gone.
Yeah.
Well, that's all it was in that chat when I was watching. It was soy boy this, cut that. Like it's always the same.
And again, that is the audience that he has cultivated, that he is appealing to, and he deems no responsibility over that. Blerd, I'm assuming that any time that stuff was going on, he did not address it once.
No, never once. Never. Like the only time he addressed it, and it was a non-addressal of it. Like but the one time he addressed it is because I pointed it out to him. And then he deflected it by saying, "Oh, well, I didn't see it. Yeah, I didn't see it. No one said anything. My mods have been taking care of business and this, that, and the other." It's like, no, they haven't. No, they haven't.
Yep. He did I actually saw this. He did a thumbnail saying Bloodsport was a race swap. So I put in his comment section, no, the time it was race swapped was when he was white. He was race swapped to white, and the guy did it to be a racist. And he changed his thumbnail real quick. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Stop with this nonsense.
Fucking trash. I don't like attacking people, but he's one of those people. Honestly, because here's my thing: if I'm gonna talk shit about you, it's likely something I've said to your face, or have said directly to you. Like, I'm not going to be that guy who's going to subtweet you and be like, "Oh man, I hope that so and so doesn't find out I said this."
Yeah.
No, I'm going to address the shit head on.
Yeah, might as well just tag him and just be like, go directly at him.
here's the
Yeah,
thing,
like, look,
right?
I'm gonna cut the head off the fucking snake.
Yeah.
Like
right.
I've had I literally had like a 12-hour back and forth with Ethan Van Sciver about his entire community, and I didn't back down from it. And he literally stayed on my ass. Literally, I like shit you not, from one afternoon to the fucking next.
Ethan Van Sciver owes me money for my phone bill. I talked to him once on a stream, and that was my joke. I said, Ethan, when are you gonna pay my phone bill? It's gonna get cut off. And he said, yeah, I'll pay your phone bill. So now the ongoing joke, every time I see him, I hear about him, like, he owes me money for my phone bill. I've been paying it for the last 2 months. He owes me.
Where's my money?
Where's my money? My money.
No, I'm taking Tristan's advice on him, and I would rather collab with Tristan than he offered to come on my show as well.
But here's the thing, right?
It's not worth your time.
No, he's not.
The stuff we're talking about, it's like people like that. It's like you have to think back to when YouTube wasn't where it is now, right?
Yeah.
I always say the biggest people on this platform have been here since the jump, and they got lucky because they were the first to do something, right? So when you look at the commentary community, who was the first person to really start that up? Then when people see how much that worked for that person and got them fame and money, people want a piece of that pie. So people will try to do that in hopes that, but again, it comes to a point where the person who started the whole commentary stuff did it because they meant it. This is how they felt. This is what they wanted to do. And you have some of us YouTubers here who still mean what we say when we do commentary. We still believe in the stuff we're talking about, where others are just doing it because it works. You see what people are growing from it and how it works for them. So they're just going to find anything, jump on certain stories. I've been victim of it too. I've jumped on a story that somebody kind of lied to me about, and I jumped on it, did a stream. But at the end of the day, I still stand by it because that YouTuber's a shitty person. So anyway.
their debates are just gaslight and goalpost moving. That's exactly right, Robert. Thank you so much.
Very much moving the goalposts. Even some of their videos are like, with the Shang-Chi box office, like, that's kind of the lowest opening weekend ever. That's like,
they ignore context.
They ignore context too, but it's also, the second weekend drop off, that's when it's going to fail. Then it's like silence.
Yeah, exactly. So let's wrap up. Make sure you guys, I'm going to get out of here, but you guys have anything you want to add or anything up and coming on your channel you want to plug? Go for it.
Well, I'm retired right now, so I don't have anything.
We're gonna bring her out of retirement.
But here's the thing. I've gotten a wave of support from the community and my viewers, and I feel like after announcing that I was leaving and seeing the response, it's like I feel like I'd be letting my audience down and my friends down if I really just stayed gone. So I will come back. I just need to kind of rethink how I want to go moving forward. But I will return. So if you have subscribed to me and you've been subscribed to me, please stick around because I'm going to definitely come back eventually. I just need a break and I got real life stuff going on too. But also if like you're considering subscribing, just know like right now I ain't going to have nothing.
Or follow her on Twitch.
You're going to have to go to my old stuff. Yeah, I'll be doing Twitch streaming because playing video games and just chilling is easier than coming up with a live stream to have a topic. So, but thank you guys. Honestly, I'm so grateful to have met everybody that I've met, Tristan here, RJ, Blerd too, and Max. You guys are amazing people and just keep doing what you're doing. And I hope we could do this again soon.
Cool.
Oh, absolutely. We're not going anywhere, Saggy. We'll be here when you get back. Take all the time you need. That your mental health is the most important. Absolutely.
Mental health is very important. Please don't ever take it for granted. We've lost too many people who have.
Yes. And I gotta say it, and wash your damn hands.
Right.
Yes.
Sanitizer.
Wash your hands with some hand sanitizer.